Have you signed the petition?
Not yet, no, because you know me, I'm not very technical at stuff like that. I was going to start differently, but it's your show, you do what you want. He has no plan, he has no conviction, he has no backbone. I don't buy this government at all. It makes me furious with the shambles that was the Tory party.
I can't see it's going to make it actually going to force an election. And in fact, even if the entire adult population signed it, it wouldn't legally force anything.
Did Isabel Oakeshott just end Keir Starmer's political career? In a jaw-dropping moment on live TV, the journalist dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through Westminster. Starmer's carefully crafted image is crumbling before our eyes. As the dust settles, we're left wondering, just how deep does this rabbit hole go? Brace yourself for the shocking truth that's about to change British politics forever. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Isabel Oakeshott's live TV appearance has thrown Westminster into chaos. The journalist's revelations about Keir Starmer have confirmed long-standing rumors that have been circulating among political insiders for years. These whispers weren't about Starmer's sexuality, but rather about the true nature of his family life.
I mean, I'm not pretending it's going to actually in some way trigger an election. I mean, unless... So there are about 40 million people who are eligible to vote in this country. This thing is getting ahead of steam, and I think we've all got to pile in. And
all right, let me play devil's advocate. Let me play devil's advocate. I am absolutely with you and the millions of people who think this bloke is a disgrace.
But what it is just a big message, isn't it? It's just a message to this lousy lot about just how much they are utterly despised by how many people.
A subject that's been an open secret in corridors of power. But it's the Southport scandal that's truly set tongues wagging. Millions of pounds meant for vital public projects have vanished into thin air. We're talking about money that was supposed to improve infrastructure, boost healthcare, and enhance social services in the area. Families in Southport are understandably furious. They've been left high and dry, watching their community suffer while funds earmarked for its improvement have mysteriously disappeared. Public reaction has been swift and brutal. Social media is ablaze with outrage, and news outlets are scrambling to keep up with the unfolding story. People are demanding answers, and they want them now. How could this happen under Starmer's watch?
But we cannot fall for the BS that the king is going to get involved. This is not going to change the government. Yes, it will absolutely, Isabel, say to this government, globally and at home, not very popular. It's not going to make any difference, though, is it? Come on.
I remind myself that very many people didn't vote Labour at the last election. I'm not surprised that many of them want a rerun. That isn't how our system works. There would be plenty of people who didn't want us in the first place.
I mean, just ridiculous. I mean, Nigel Farage is one of the most popular politicians in the country. That's why millions of people voted for him and his party at the last election.
Where did the money go? And who's responsible for this massive failure? But here's where it gets even more disturbing. Whistleblowers who've tried to expose the truth behind the Southport scandal are facing threats and intimidation. This points to a culture of secrecy and suppression within the Labour Party that goes far beyond a simple accounting error. It raises serious questions about what else might be hidden beneath the surface. The impact on Starmer's leadership cannot be overstated. His carefully cultivated image as a transparent and accountable leader is in tatters. Questions about his handling of key issues like immigration and government accountability are reaching a fever pit. Many are now wondering if his position is tenable at all. As pressure mounts for Starmer to address these allegations head-on, one thing is clear: this scandal is far from over. With each passing day, new details emerge, painting an increasingly damning picture. The Labour leader finds himself in an impossible position, caught between mounting public anger and the need to maintain party unity. The implications for the Labour Party as a whole are equally dire. This scandal threatens to undermine their credibility on a national scale, potentially derailing their chances in the next election. As we dig deeper into this web of deceit, one question looms large: just how far does this corruption extend within the party's ranks?
And I think that's important.
Yeah, that's the strong thing. Well, he was on this morning. This is really interesting, and I want to pick you up on something with Farage. He was on this morning. My mate Andy Peters interviewing him. Have a listen to this. Is Starmer's response earlier.
So, look, what I focus is on is the decisions that I have to make every day. And it's a bit like opposition.
Surely you want us, the public, to trust you, to like you.
Nigel Farage is always going to be a much more exciting, interesting, dynamic, charismatic, bright, engaging and yes, divisive figure than Keir Starmer.
The Labour Party once stood as a beacon of hope for millions. Now it's mired in a crisis that threatens its very existence. How did things go so wrong, and can the party survive the storm that's brewing? The erosion of public trust in Labour leadership is accelerating at an alarming rate. What began as whispers of discontent has evolved into a deafening roar of outrage. The Southport scandal has exposed deep-rooted issues within the party, revealing a culture of secrecy and intimidation that goes far beyond a single financial mishap. Whistleblowers attempting to shed light on the inner workings of the Labour Party are reportedly facing threats and intimidation. This toxic environment is not only silencing dissent, but also preventing crucial information from reaching the public. As Isabel Oakeshott warns, this culture of secrecy is causing public trust to plummet even further. The party that once championed transparency and accountability now seems determined to keep its skeletons firmly locked in the closet. Calls for Starmer's resignation are growing louder by the day. Social media platforms are ablaze with hashtags demanding his immediate departure. Online petitions are gathering signatures at an unprecedented rate. The public's patience has worn thin, and they're demanding answers and accountability. But the Labour leader's woes may be just the tip of the iceberg. There are rumblings of further revelations waiting in the wings, each with the potential to deliver another crushing blow to the party's already fragile reputation. Political insiders are holding their breath, wondering what bombshell might drop next. In a desperate attempt to contain the damage, Labour Party officials are working overtime. Crisis management teams have been assembled, and carefully crafted statements are being issued. But these efforts seem futile in the face of mounting evidence and public outrage. It's becoming increasingly clear that standard damage control tactics won't be enough to weather this storm. As we delve deeper into this political quagmire, one question looms large. Can the Labour Party survive this crisis intact? The future, once bright with the promise of change, now seems uncertain at best. With each passing day, the party's credibility erodes further, leaving voters disillusioned and searching for alternatives. The repercussions of this scandal extend far beyond the confines of Westminster. They threaten to reshape the entire landscape of British politics, potentially altering the balance of power for years to come. As we continue to unravel this complex web of deceit and corruption, one thing is certain: the British political scene will never be the same again. Isabel Oakeshott's revelation has sent shockwaves through British politics, leaving the Labour Party reeling. The Southport scandal has exposed deep-rooted issues within the party, shattering public trust and raising serious questions about its future. As one political analyst put it, this is no longer just a political scandal, it's a profound betrayal of the public's trust. Keir Starmer's leadership hangs by a thread, with calls for his resignation growing louder each day. The Labour Party's credibility has taken a massive hit, potentially reshaping its future and diminishing its standing in the eyes of voters. This crisis is being hailed as one of the most significant political failures in recent history, with far-reaching consequences that extend beyond party lines. As the dust settles, we're left with a pressing question: can British politics recover from this seismic shift, or are we witnessing the beginning of a new, more cynical era in UK governance?